Thank you for being part of Granny's Country Cooking. And I am Granny, and we welcome you all. And today we are going to make chocolate pie filling. Now this will be something that you can also use as a pudding in little cups, make pretty little cups and put filling and put whipped cream on the top, or you can use this recipe for a pie. And this can also go into the recipe that is the chocolate meringue pie recipe. But this will be the chocolate filling, and it doesn't take very long, and it is absolutely delicious. So we will get everything set up, and I'll be right back with you for the chocolate pie filling, or chocolate pudding. Thank you. Be right back. Okay, we are back with the chocolate pudding filling. Now for those of you that are just coming into our video with the chocolate filling, this is also can be pudding. And you can take this recipe and pour them into individual little bowls and have some delicious pudding. But today we're making it into a filling for the pie. And we just made our pie shells, so now we're making our chocolate filling or chocolate pudding. So the first thing we're going to have in here, we're going to have milk, we're going to have sugar, cocoa, or the squares of chocolate, corn starch and salt, vanilla, and some butter. So that's what we're going to have in the recipe. The first thing I want to explain is in the past I've made many goofs through the years thinking I could shortcut recipes or substitute this for that or this for that. And I want to tell you that in puddings, do not use low-fat milk or lactose-free milk or low-fat of any kind. It needs to be regular whole milk. And what I've done in the past, we live way out in the country, and I don't always have the chance to go in to town to replenish my milk. So what I like to do is what the pioneer people used to do. And what they did back in the 1800s, they had canned milk at that time. And what they would do is that they would take canned milk and they would have the one can and put 1 can of water with that canned milk, and it would make the milk for your foods or gravies or whatever. So you don't have to rush into town to buy whole milk. You can keep this on hand, a few cans in your pantry, and you're always ready to go with gravies or with anything you're going to make, or even like puddings and things. You can have your milk on hand. So what I did for us today, which we're going to have, is that I had 1 can of milk and 1 can of water, and I mixed it up in my little pitcher. If I have any left over, I'll use it on gravy. So we're going to put that down. Now, the first thing we're going to do is put the sugar, cocoa, and cornstarch and salt together. So, in this recipe, there is 1 cup of sugar. So we are going to get us 1 cup, and it's just regular sugar. Doesn't have to be anything special. And I'm going to dip it in. There's some little lumps, but they will get mashed down in just a minute. Use clean fingers only. And we're going to put 1 cup of sugar. Okay. Now, I went ahead and measured the cocoa. I like to use Hershey's cocoa. You can use whatever flavor. Now, if you want it a little bit darker, more chocolatey than what we're making, you can add more cocoa to it. And as you make this recipe several times, you'll know whether you like a little bit more or a little bit less of the cocoa. Now, I do use the squares of chocolates at times. This 1/3 of cocoa equals 2 ounces of squares of chocolate that you would melt in this grouping right here. So now we have 1/3 cup of cocoa. We're going to put that in. I love my little drawer with all my little handy tools in it. And we're going to use this little spatula again in just a minute. Now, we're going to be using our whisk. This is a fantastic whisk. If you can find one with a pointed end, it helps to get in all the corners of the pan when you're making pudding or filling. Okay, now let's see, what do we need? We have sugar, we have the cocoa, and now we need some cornstarch, and we're going to use 3 tablespoons. So let's get our tablespoons out. And I use cornstarch a lot. And I have it in this little jar. I love my little jars. And I keep a 1 tablespoon in there all the time. And this brand, I'm trying to remember, is just a regular brand. I just have the name cornstarch in there. So we are going to put 3 tablespoons into our pan. Then we're going to stir it up in just a minute. There's 1. There is 2. And there is 3. That cornstarch doesn't flavor, but it thickens. And you have to have it boiling when you're going to use it, when you're thickening it up. Okay, that was 3. Excuse my fingers. That's why we have aprons. I love aprons. Now we're going to put salt in, and we need 1/2 teaspoon. This is 1/2. And I like sea salt because it gives a better flavor. And you don't always have to use the same amount. You can use a little bit less with sea salt and you still have good flavor. Now, we're going to mix up our dry ingredients, kind of, and I'll let you see in our good saucepan. Just going to kind of stir it. There's a few little sugar lumps, but we'll get it all mixed up, especially when we add the milk. And we have that right there. And those little lumps will go away in just a minute. Now, we need equal of 2 cups. You can use whole milk from the grocery store, which is just fine. Or if you want to use the evaporated milk, it has a richer flavor. And wow, it is really good. That's what I'm using today. So I have my little pitcher and my measuring cup. We're going to measure 2 cups. Okay. We have a little bit left for gravy. Okay, we're going to stir it in. Whoops, it spilled. I'll get that little bit off the floor in a minute. Now, this can go in our soapy water, and it'll be clean in just a little bit. And I'll get the counter. Now, we're going to boil this for 1 full minute. What that means is you get it stirred constantly. Don't let it scorch, on a medium flame. Not too high, not too low. And you're going to boil, it comes to a boil. Then you set your timer for 1 minute to boil it 1 full minute, and then take it off the burner. So that's what we're going to do. So I will be back with you after this is boiled. I'll let you see what it looks like. Then we're going to add egg yolks and vanilla and butter. Okay, be right back. Okay, that was quick. We boiled this pudding mixture, and as you can see, it's nice, rich, thick chocolate. We're going to add some egg yolks, and there will be 3 egg yolks. And I have to tell you something comical about myself. A while ago, I'm glad I did it beforehand, because you didn't need to sit there watching me break eggs and divide the whites between the yolk. And one of them just broke all in my hand, fell all over my apron, all over the floor. That would have been funny on the air. But I went ahead and did it before we had that mess. So now I have 3 egg yolks. What we're going to do is I have a little bitty whisk, and it's a nice long handle. I got this at Amazon, magnificent. I'm going to mix up the 3 egg yolks. They're divided. Now the egg whites we have sitting off to the side, because when we make a meringue in just a few minutes, we want to have the warmed down egg whites. They beat up a lot better. So we are going to make the egg whites in just a little bit. Now this is mixed up 3 egg yolks. Now what we're going to do is add some of this, and the pan's pretty hot. Let me get a pot holder. Going to pour into the egg yolks, if you can see, part of the mixture. Don't have to pour it all. The reason why we're doing this is we're going to boil this again for 1 more minute, and it gives it a richer flavor. Now we're going to mix up the chocolate and the egg yolks. Don't get too rambunctious, because it'll go out of your little bowl. We're going to mix this up. Now if I had poured the egg yolk straight into the pudding, it would have curdled and cooked the egg yolks, and you would have had yellow lumps. We don't want yellow lumps. So when you're pouring the chocolate, the filling, into the egg yolks, it's cooling it down so it won't cook it. And now we have it all stirred. We are going to put this down. We can wash the counter in a minute. We're going to use our little spatula and pour it all in and scrape it. Now try to remember, no low-fat milk. It can be whole milk from the store, or you can use the canned milk. And I found out the hard way that the low-fat milk will not firm up. It stays runny like syrup, pretty much. And as many years as I've cooked, I have made mistakes where I've accidentally used a low fat, because I use a low fat for different things. But in pudding, no, don't use low fat. Now I'm stirring this all up, getting it all mixed. Then I'm going to boil it 1 more minute. Get it hot to boil, then boil 1 solid minute, turn the burner off, and bring it back. Then we will add some vanilla and some butter. So, I will be right back. Thank you. Wow, that was quick. I used my little timer, got it back on the stove, got it heated back up, boiled it for 1 full minute. Use your timer, and then turn the burner right off. Now, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And if you can, it needs to be the real butter. It has a better flavor. And I already measured 2 tablespoons. So we're going to drop that in there. And then we'll stir this up. After it's mixed, we'll put in vanilla and stir that. Then we'll pour it into our pie shell. It's going to be so good. I wish you could lick the pan with me in just a minute. It's going to be delicious. If you like chocolate, wow. And soon I will have the cream pies, or coconut cream pies, and I'll show you how to do that. And it's basically the same recipe without the cocoa, but it's a little bit different. And so we will have the cream pies, the coconut cream pies, and different things like that. So we will have this done pretty quick, and then we'll pour it into the pie shell. Now, that butter is melted, went quick. Now we're going to use 1 teaspoon. And this is 1 teaspoon. Okay, now be careful, these bottles are heavy. Okay. Now we'll stir this all up. Oh, and that pure vanilla is the only thing to use in all of your cooking if you can find it. This is called La Vencedora while I'm stirring, and it does come from Mexico. It's a humongous bottle, and it lasts me forever, and I cook all the time. And you can buy it off of Amazon, or you can get it through maybe some gift shops, sort of thing. In some places, you can get better prices than others, but I love this. When you use pure vanilla, it doesn't cook out of your food. Like if you're making cookies or cakes or pies or anything, whenever you're adding it to the puddings or cakes, whatever, flavor doesn't cook out. You can taste that flavor. It's delicious. Absolutely. Now, this is out of this world. And it's ready to go in the pie. Now, this will be something to lick after a while. And we're going to use our little spatula. And that pan's still kind of hot. So I'm going to scoot this shell, the pie shell, over where you can see it. And we're going to pour that chocolate filling in. Look at that. And it's steaming. It is so hot and rich and good. When you're cooking this filling, don't have the burner up too high to make it hurry up, because then it scorches on the bottom and you can taste that scorch flavor. So don't cook it too high of a burner. Just have it like on a medium or a little less than medium. All right. Wow, that looks delicious. Let me see if I can get a little bit more out. All right, and I'm going to get to lick the pan in a little bit. Okay, now kind of spread it around a little bit. Make sure it's kind of evenly in there. Now we're going to let the pie filling and shell sit for just a few minutes while we're getting ready for the meringue. Now the meringue will go on top of the warm, hottish pie filling and then into the oven. So we're going to set this off to the side while we get ready to make our meringue. And if you're leaving the video and not watching the rest of the video for the meringue, thank you so much for watching the pie filling. And you can use this as just pudding in little cups. And thank you so much for being with us. And be sure and touch the like button and also subscribe with the little bell. And thank you for being with us. Now, for those of you that are staying on, we're going to make the meringue top in just a few minutes. I'm going to get things set up for us. So I'll be right back. Thank you.